diaspora, abroad and at home. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for Both Sides of the Story on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Join us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on Both Sides of the Story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or nobex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, ears and one mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us for the story.
Story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
I fight a battle every day against discouragement and fear. Some foes stand always in my way. The path ahead is never clear. I must forever be on guard against the doubts that skulk along. I get ahead by fighting hard, but fighting keeps my spirit strong. I hear the croakings of despair, the dark predictions of the weak. I find myself pursued by care, no matter what the end I seek. My victories are small and few. It matters not how hard I strive. Each day the fight begins anew, but fighting keeps my hopes alive. My dreams are spoiled by circumstance. My plans are wrecked by fate or luck. Some hour perhaps will come my chance, but that great hour has never struck. My progress has been slow and hard. I've had to climb and crawl and swim, fighting for every stubborn yard, but I have kept in fighting trim. I have to fight my doubts away and be on guard against my fears. The feeble croaking of dismay has been familiar through the years. My dearest plans keep going wrong. Events combine to thwart my will, but fighting keeps my spirit strong, and I am undefeated still.
Said if you live in the glass house,
You know, the song can get there, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
GFP, these there, you know. Angie just said, baby, dead baby crying.
Crying.
There time now.
Yeah.
But baby, must
Yeah.
get new year now. The mic come back in power.
That's right. That's
So
right.
It's funny because, you know, we got
Yes.
10 to show different between Prophet and Affairs. Baby died.
That's right.
So we will go now try differentiate.
Mhm.
And the box stop with me.
Absolutely.
So maybe
Absolutely.
never go out of them
Yeah.
here to show
Yeah.
difference. Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dead baby then, dead baby no. That's how I mean.
And it's a game we've been playing for too long in this country.
It's just funny, you know. And was a man.
Yeah.
We get dead baby.
Yeah, man. Come back to haunt him now.
Yeah, I call for Ferguson. No, you're trying. You know,
Yeah.
the reason why.
Excusing away.
Yeah, the reason why I don't see him.
And then because of the undercurrent, there's a political undercurrent in the party as well. So if he makes that move, it's some serious chess game, you know.
Yes.
If Andrew make that move and goes at the tough turn,
Yeah. Yeah. Probably
It starts.
But
yeah.
so popular, so strong. In and out of the party. It's born for.
And that's it, you know,
So you see
because
that?
it would suit some people to burst that bubble as well.
So you see that you can go to the final. Consider the popularity.
Yeah.
Jamaica 90
Yes. But what doesn't help though is that he has a whole, what you call it now, a whole collection of issues. The amount of money wasted on Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Yeah, we have been funding.
Yeah,
So people, this concept because they see me and talking and being
and it's that same marketing why everybody calls it market me.
It's like a too far. It's got a little.
Yeah. No, it has been, no, you're right. It has been straight PR. It has been.
Anybody that helped me would have to do that.
Absolutely.
Just
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're really getting directives from the WHO.
And I can't, there's no reason to try to cover up or to pretend as if it didn't happen or to delay or what. There's just,
And they call it powerful.
Yes.
But you know, again, what you are saying, in the party, chess match.
yeah, man.
What would you want to talk to Jamaica about? Again,
Yes.
feeling.
Yes. Right. So it could very well be read as an attempt to mislead as well. You could read that into it as well.
Probably, yeah, the parents are behind the scenes, not the team.
That too.
When I say, yeah.
When I say A and yeah, right. Yeah.
But I love the song.
But me tell people all the while, you know, at all levels, don't hide from the press.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do not hide from the press.
Whenever them come
That
at you,
vacuum is going to be filled with all kinds of speculation.
and whenever what more so of people are speaking so. And it's a mess up. But again, popular can still be in such a big part.
Yeah. Serious problems. Give it today, 31st. This is the looking at my free truck still there. I forget. Run it again. Okay, what date is that? City, Jamaica, 31st. The irrepressible Peter Tosh. The Glass House, the name of this one, quite evident. And before that, a poem entitled The Fighter by S.E. Kaiser, Kiser, Samuel Ellsworth. The S for Samuel, the E for Ellsworth. Samuel Ellsworth Kaiser. The piece entitled The Fighter, and the poem, that's the poem, The Fighter, and the theme song, Glass House by Peter Tosh. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 31st and final day of the 10th month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Put another way, it's the 31st and final day of the 5th month of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, and the has gotten a little stronger. So that actually rhymes. Tropical storm Lisa has gotten a little stronger south of Jamaica. Tropical storm conditions are possible in Jamaica today. In fact, look at the bulletin supplied by the National Meteorological Service here in Jamaica. And the latest bulletin we have from the Met Office is bulletin number 6, Tropical Storm Watch still in effect as disturbance becomes Tropical Storm Lisa. A tropical storm watch remains in effect for Jamaica as Tropical Storm Lisa has now developed from the area of disturbed weather south of the island. This means that tropical storm conditions continue to pose a possible threat to Jamaica. At 10 o'clock this morning, the center of Tropical Storm Lisa was located near 15.5 degrees north, longitude 77.3 degrees west, or about 225 kilometers or 160 miles south of Rocky Point in Clarendon, Jamaica. Lisa is moving towards the west near 22 kilometers per hour or 14 miles per hour, and a westward to west-northwestward motion is expected over the next few days. On the forecast track, the center of Tropical Storm Lisa will continue moving south of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands today and tomorrow before approaching Central America on Wednesday. Maximum sustained winds remain near 65 kilometers or 40 miles per hour with higher gusts, and slow strengthening is forecast during the next few days. Lisa could therefore become a hurricane over the northwestern Caribbean Sea by Wednesday. Tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 165 kilometers or 105 miles from the center. Fishers on the Keys and banks are reminded to exercise extreme caution at this time due to dangerous sea conditions associated with Tropical Storm Lisa now moving over Jamaica's southern offshore waters. The system has the potential to produce 50 to 100 millimeters or 2 to 4 inches of rainfall and strong gusty winds reaching near tropical storm force, mainly over eastern and southern parishes. Residents should be on the alert for possible flash flooding in flood-prone areas. The Meteorological Service continues to monitor the progress of this system, and all interests are encouraged to pay special attention to further releases. The next bulletin on Tropical Storm Lisa will be issued any moment now if it hasn't come through yet, 2 o'clock this afternoon. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15. The Cattle Breeders Society of Jamaica presents its Minute Livestock Show and Beef Festival at Minute Estate, Brownstown, St. Anne, Thursday, November 10. Under the theme, Smart Livestock Production, Safer, Cleaner, Better. Sponsored by Nutrix, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Jamaica 4-H Clubs, Hydro Feeds, the Jamaica Dairy Development Board, Miranda Dockside Limited, Hart NSPA Trust, and H&L Agro.
So if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. And if you can't take blows, brother, don't throw blows.
And it's the final day for the following observances: Jamaica Red Cross Month, Oral Health Month, Lupus Awareness Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, National Egg Month, National Heritage Month, JMEA Manufacturers Month, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Correctional Services Awareness Month. In the United Kingdom, October is being celebrated as Black History Month. And let's not forget that October is also Legal Deposit Month. And the National Library of Jamaica is encouraging every national publisher in Jamaica to, within 1 month of the publication of any document which he or she publishes in Jamaica, deposit in the legal depository the number of copies specified. It's Reformation Day in Switzerland, Germany, Slovenia, and Chile. Pagans in the Southern Hemisphere are marking Beltane, while those in the Northern Hemisphere are observing Samhain. Halloween is being celebrated from Canada to Ireland, Japan to Scotland, from Sweden to Switzerland and the United Kingdom and North America, the United States, to be more precise, where they're also marking National Magic Day in tribute to Harry Houdini, and Nevada Day is also being commemorated in the USA. It's National Flag Day in Ecuador, and Chiang Kai-shek's birthday is being celebrated in Taiwan. Hoy es lunes el 31 de octubre 2022 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones, y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est lundi le 31 octobre 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez, où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de ceux parce que nous savons que vous avez le bras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 10h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habilité d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9, from Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. And if you weren't following the Spanish and the French introductions, have no fear. The English is here. The English language is here. All we're saying is, it is Monday, the 31st and final day in the month of October 2022, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted, because we know you have choices. And that's why we never, ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Good afternoon to those watching on YouTube. Alvin Daly says, good afternoon, Brother Dervan. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We are. Thank you very much. Hope the same for you and yours, Alvin Daly. Omar Blake says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. I trust you're doing well as well can be. Thank you, Omar. Yes. It's another day for an amazing program, says Omar. Two matters. Number one, the Minister of Health and his resignation. Number two, why was it not the PNP, the one who really broke this information to the public? Do you think the Prime Minister will fire his minister who polls the highest, that of 26% in favorable ratings in the last polls? Well, three questions. There are three key questions that must be asked in line with the Westminster system for anyone in a public leadership position. What did you know? When did you know it? And what did you do about it? What did you know? When did you know it? And what did you do about it? Your outcome, your future, your position turns on those three questions. Your position turns on those three questions, supported by evidence, investigative material. What did you know? When did you know it? And what did you do about it? And depending on the responses to that particular question. In fact, let's go a step further, because in today's Gleaner, there is an article entitled False Narratives and Faulty Comparisons. False Narratives and Faulty Comparisons, written by Dr. Christopher Tufton, who is styled here as guest columnist. Here's what Dr. Tufton says. The loss of lives at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, VJH, is both sad and unfortunate. They must never be downplayed or trivialized, but above all, no one should exploit these deaths for political gain. There was no intent to withhold information from the public, and to the extent that there are Jamaicans who perceive such, I regret that. The primary concern at the time was solving the problem, ensuring no more loss of lives, while balancing the risk of causing panic and hysteria in the context where the situation now seemed under control. On October 26, a media house broke, in inverted commas, broke the story of deaths at VJH. However, instead of seeking clarification or even the truth, they sought to sensationalize the story. They claimed that there were dozens of fatalities and outbreaks in other hospitals, and that the Minister of Health and Wellness was attempting to hide information from the public. I understand the value that media houses gain by breaking news. Still, they should do this with professional integrity after exploring all reasonable avenues for accuracy and clarification. Otherwise, they become part of the problem and more times than not create a problem that affects lives, credibility, and professional integrity. As Minister of Health and Wellness, I have learned a lot of lessons along the way. However, one of the biggest lessons I have learned is to be accessible, be forthright, and never politicize health. Regardless of their background, all individuals should have access to proper health care. When I learned of the outbreak, I immediately did what any responsible person would have done. I called on the experts to ensure that the problem would be addressed and corrected. As I know that there are many narratives out there, some of which are mere attempts to undermine and politicize an unfortunate and unavoidable event, I have found it necessary to put the facts on record to provide clarity. While the opposition may see this as an opportunity to gain political mileage or to compare it to a former event where the value of unborn lives was discounted, the facts belie their accusations, as it is clear that the MOHW did everything it could to prevent further loss of life. 1. In July 2022, the Southeast Regional Health Authority discovered a bacterial infection at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital after 7 confirmed deaths. Immediately, the team assessed and began to enhance infection and prevention control. 2. In August, the reported cases were reduced to 2 deaths. This decline indicated that the infection and prevention control measures were working. Towards the end of August, the Ministry of Health and Wellness team briefed me on the situation at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. This was the first time the team brought the problem of a bacterial infection at VJH to my attention. Even though there was a decline and the situation appeared to be under control, I instructed the Pan American Health Organization to be called in to provide an additional assessment. In September, the reports indicated 2 more deaths. In October, no death was reported. With this swift and decisive leadership from both the regional and ministerial levels, we managed the problem, ensuring no more loss of lives, because every life matters. Concerns have been raised about why Cabinet or the Prime Minister was not informed. In hindsight, I should have briefed the Prime Minister earlier. Again, I felt that the situation was under control and decided to await feedback from the Pan American Health Organization to advise the Cabinet officially. Managing public health in Jamaica is a challenging task. And we're going to pause there for the moment. If you can stay with us, please do. We do have Land Solutions coming up right now, which will run for an hour. We'll pick up the story after that.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Sip a cuppa.
Sipacopa?
Yes, Sipacopa.
Sipacopa what?
Sipacopa Ital Jamaican Moringa tea bags. Sipacopa Moringa, turmeric, vervine, neem, and guinea hen wheat tea bags today. Sipacopa tea is available in supermarkets island-wide. So Sipacopa today, you'll be happy you did. Distributed by Caramel Group Limited. Kerry, you look what you learn as we there, don't it?
Yeah, man. Oh, you ready for yours?
Yeah, but when I know it's to start.
It's easy, man. Just follow me. I'm reach 17 years old and can read and write. You can get a learners. But first, if you pass the road code test, you can make an appointment for the test by emailing roadcodetest@ntw.gov.jm or by calling 876-754-1900. Or you can visit any examination depot. After you pass the test, you pay $1,800 at the nearest tax office, and just like that, you're good to go.
The Island Traffic Authority, an entity for road safety good. Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, doing both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-922-41125 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story. Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM. Are roads a major concern? What about those drains that are in need of repair or cleaning? Who's responsible for repairing my road and when will it be done? Join us this and every Tuesday morning at 8 during Morning Agenda as we travel on our roads with the National Works Agency and get answers to these and other concerns. You're welcome to visit their website at www.nwa.gov.jm. See the tender notices link for projects to be undertaken. You may also call them toll-free at 1-888-429-5NWA. That's 1-888-429-5692. Or follow them on Twitter at NWA_JA and Facebook at www.facebook.com/NWA Jamaica. The National Works Agency, developing safe, reliable, and quality roads. Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
The It's a Manning Cup schoolboy football competition is in full swing, and Power Play will bring you live reports and updates on the football matches. Listen to every Tuesday at 7:15 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM. Live reports will be brought to you by Chada Distributors Limited, KFC, and Ellis Duane and Company Limited.
Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, doing both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-922-41125 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
For 50 years, Under the Law has been helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. And we continue to do this in 2022. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
It's Miss Brown, you said, right? Okay. It's a Monday afternoon just after 2:30, and that means time for Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions is 876 387 3183. 876 387 3183. That's the text line, which doubles as the WhatsApp number. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. Facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. Gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office upstairs, Shop 6, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead before turning up at the offices of Brown, Findley and Company. In fact, you can call them at 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. If you would like to get in touch directly with the Ocho Rios offices of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, you can call them at 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. And here's a reminder that a lawyer is on duty at the Ocho Rios law offices of Brown, Findley and Company every Thursday from 10 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. Let's say good afternoon and welcome to your host on Land Solutions today, attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Dervan. A very rainy and windy day in Jamaica.
Indeed it is.
Indeed it is. I just pray that we have an echo, Dervan.
Let me see what's causing that. All right, go ahead now, please.
This the other day, and he was told now that that man we bought it from, that is owned by 3 persons, not just 1 person. He bought it from 1 man. He was told it's owned by 3 persons, and the 3 persons did not include the man he bought it from. So I'm saying this to say to persons that I say it on this program all the time. I'm sure it's reinforced, and Khaleesi says the same thing as well, that be careful how we are buying property. So this gentleman went, paid his money, bought a piece of land. Now he's told it's owned by 3 persons, and the one he bought it from is not one of the 3. So how can you avoid things like those? How do you avoid buying land from persons who don't own it? Because if suppose it was owned even by 3 persons and you bought from 1, then you could enforce it and get that person to transfer their share to you. But there's no particular share when 3 persons own property like that. There's no particular share. Everywhere is owned by everybody. So I'm encouraging persons, do your what you call due diligence as lawyers. Get your own attorney to investigate the matter for you, to make sure that the person who is selling you is the owner and also has a good title to pass. Because sometimes persons really, in fact, own the property, but they don't have title, they can't give title. So get your own attorney. Your attorney will investigate, will see if this person is the owner, what documentation. Because sometimes you can still buy property that, even though the property is not titled, the person does not have a registered title. you can still buy property because the reality is that 40% of Jamaica's land is not titled. So we won't say don't buy land that does not have a title, but investigate and make sure that the person who is selling has documentation to prove ownership. Maybe the person has a common law title. Maybe the person can prove that they have they have a receipt that they bought it some time ago. But even when my clients are buying unregistered property, I tell them to let the person who is selling to them start the application. Start the application for title so you will know if the person is going to succeed. You don't have to complete the application and get a title, but at least put the application in the title's office and get it approved by the referee of titles. So you will at least know that yes, this person can get a title, so I'll be able to get. Also, buying property from somebody, let the person give you their evidence of documentation. Suppose they are not going to give you a title. Let them give you their evidence of ownership. So when you are ready to have title, you have something to form the base, to form the foundation of your application. So I'm selling you a piece of land, I don't have a title. But maybe I have old tax papers, and I have an old survey diagram or an old will where it was willed to me, or the receipt where I bought it. I need to give you my proof of ownership so you can have something to help to reinforce your claim to ownership. So don't just let somebody give you a receipt and sell you a piece of land and say, and you feel comfortable. Let them give you evidence that they in fact have the right, because you're going to have to give this evidence to the title's office. The numbers to call 91325 and the text 3183. You can send me a WhatsApp message 3873183. This person is asking if after they have valued their property in a sale, got a valuation in the sale, if the government will still do a valuation. And yes, the government can still do a valuation. So for example, when you are buying a property, we usually say to our clients, survey the property and also value the property, because you want to make sure that you are not buying it for a value that is in excess of the real value. So I say to my clients, value the property and survey the property. So even though you have your valuation, so suppose you're buying a house, for example, a house in Mona, and you've done your valuation and the house is in disrepair, so it's valued at, maybe it's valued at 5 million. The stamp office might say, a house in Mona going for 5 million, we feel that that we need to go and look at it. So they might go and look at it and value it. And they won't come and say it's valued less than 5 if it's valued less, but they will say if it's valued more, if it's valued more. So they might come and say, hey, this house you're buying for 5 million is valued 10 million. They can't tell the people to sell you for 10 million because you already have an agreement for 5. But the government is going to ask you to pay the transfer tax based on the $10 million value, based on the value that they have put on the property. So you can buy a property for $1, but the government is going to want their duty on what valued, not what you're buying it for. And the same thing will go if it's a transfer by way of gift. You're still going to have to pay the duty based on the actual value. So sometimes persons come and say, hey, it's a gift, so I don't expect to pay any duty. The government will still charge you the same duty as if it were a sale, because persons may want to hide a sale behind a gift. So it will still attract the duty, not because here is a gift. Person sometimes think that you don't need to pay any duty because it's a gift. You're going to still pay this 2% transfer tax and the stamp duty. The text line 3873183. 3873183. One of my sister's aunt-in-law will a house to her, but she does not know what to do. If a property is willed to you, you need to you need to probate the will. And this is something that is so important that I'm going to talk a little bit about it after the break, probating of wills. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Tune in to Farm Talk every second and third Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for the feature Hyper Food Independence. Hyper Food Independence will focus on solutions for farmers, such as land, animal husbandry, agronomy, and more. That's Hyper Food Independence every second and third Tuesday from 6:18 to 6:30 a.m. during Farm Talk only on Power 106 FM. Hypro Food Independence is sponsored by Hypro.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876 387 3183. 876 387 3183. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. And you're encouraged to call ahead before turning up at the offices of Brown, Findlay and Company. Their numbers: 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. If you wish to call the Ocho Rios offices of Brown, Findlay and Company directly, that number is 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. And here's a reminder that a lawyer is on duty every Thursday at the Ocho Rios offices of the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company. A lawyer is on duty every Thursday from 10 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. Once again, here is attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. And please remember the numbers to call: 922-4113-5. And the text line is 387-3183. And before the break, I said I would want to talk a little bit about probate, because somebody sent a text asking about some property being willed to a sister-in-law and what is to be done. And I want to look at that. And I see another text message as well. This probate was granted and the beneficiaries who are entitled to the land does not have registered titles, only indenture documents. What can be done to add the names of the beneficiaries? Let me look at this first. Because we are saying the probate was done, there was no title for the property, so what the executors did the correct thing, they gave them indentures or common law titles. So these common law titles would already have the names of the beneficiaries on them. That's what the indentures are. The indentures are the transfer, as we say, or the conveyance of the properties to the beneficiaries. So if you look at those indentures that you have, your names are on them already. What you need to move to do now is to survey the property and use these indentures as your foundation to get a registered title. But the probate was done, you have got these indentures, you're very near to your title now. Go and survey your little piece of it and apply to get your title. But if you read that indenture properly, it is already, your name is on it, already transferred to you. So I was looking at the probate as well, because I wanted to look at it as well because of a situation that I saw the other day where somebody went and probated a will, and then somebody else came forward to say, hey, we have a later will, but we did not know that we should do anything about it. So I realized that we're taking a lot for granted. We're taking, because we have the inner knowledge, we're thinking that the average person will know that when a person dies, you just don't take the will and say, hey, the house is mine because the will says so. That will has to be probated. And we use that big word all the time, probate. But what it really simply means is that what it is asking you to do is to take that will along with the death certificate and a listing of all the assets that the person died leaving, the title for the land, or the insurance policy, the policy document, anything the person died leaving. Take that to your attorney with the will and with the death certificate. It's really the executor's responsibility, but of course, we know it's the beneficiaries who will have to foot the cost. So take those to your attorney, and your attorney will prepare certain documents for the executors to sign, a document for the witness to sign, for a witness to sign, and that doesn't always happen, but most times you'll need a witness to sign a document to say, the condition of the will or etc. The condition of the signature of the person, maybe the signature is weak, or if there were any alterations to the will, you might need a witness to do an affidavit of the attesting witness or affidavit of due execution. But also, one of the documents that you are going to file in court is a document called a probate. So the lawyer prepares that document and files it with these other documents in court. And this is a document to say the person, John Brown, of such and such an address, died on such and such a date, and appointed Peter Brown as executor, and the court is granting probate now to Peter as the executor. So when the court signs that paper, it's really like a court order. It's a court order giving the executor permission to go ahead and start dealing with the assets. It's a very, very important piece of document. It gives the executors permission. When the court signs this paper called a probate, you step in the shoes of the dead person, literally. When you get this paper called probate, there's nothing the dead person could have done in terms of his or her assets that you can't do. So when the lawyer says, hey, the probate is ready, and you go and get the probate with the will attached to it, and you take it to the bank has to give you the money that the dead person died leaving. The property the person died leaving has to be put in your name as executor before you can transfer to the beneficiary. Both of them at the same time, usually. The NHC contribution refund has to go to the executor. The money in the bank, the back pay from the job that the person had, all the assets that the person who died leaving. When probate is granted, the executor is now in charge of those assets. So I've always said it on the program, executors are powerful people. Choose them with care, because they are going to collect all your assets. If they are dishonest, they can walk away with it, and I've had instances of those. And you can have as many as 4 executors. But choose them carefully, because the executor is the one who is going to be in charge of your assets, your property, your money, all that you have. The executor is now in charge. Executors run the show. So choose them with care. The best people to be your executors, and this is something just like what I'm trying to get out of Jamaicans' heads, that paying the taxes can't make you own land. So I'm trying to get persons to understand that executors can be your beneficiaries. So many persons have come to me to say we have been told, even by attorneys, that our beneficiaries cannot be our executors. The best people to be your executors are the people you are leaving the things to when you die. You're leaving it to your spouse and your children, make them the executors. And remember, you can have as many as 4 executors. You can have 1, you can have 2, 3, 4. And I really prefer the executors are people, even some of them who are younger than you, because you don't want to outlive your executor. Because you want these people to take charge of your estate when you die. So you don't want to choose your grandmother as your executor, because grandmother might die before you. So these are some of the things that you need to look into, to consider. And remember, executors are also entitled to 6% of your estate. So you have a $10 million house, executors are to share $600,000, okay, among themselves. As many as 4. If it's 1, the one gets the 6%. If it's 3 of them, 2% each. 4 of them, 1.5% each. 2 of them, 3% each. But executors get 6% of the estate. Choose them carefully. We'll continue after the break. This is Land Solution. No, I'm sorry. We're not up on a break yet. My apologies, Adrian. Yes. So we choose our executors carefully. And remember, you write in the will, I appoint John Brown as my executor. And the executor can also witness the will, but you know that if the executor is witnessing the will, there's nothing for the executor to get. So you can appoint, suppose you appoint me as your executor, and I'm also the witness for your will. But you know that there's nothing for me to get out of the will except the executor's fee. Because executors should not get, witnesses should not get anything out of the will or the witnesses' spouses. And I think this is what persons mix up with the whole thing about executors. I think that's where the confusion comes from, where persons are saying executors can't get anything out of the will. It's a witness who can't get anything out of the will. So when you call somebody and say, Miss Brown, can you witness my will for me? I know that you're not leaving anything for me. That is why you're asking me to witness. Or you're not leaving anything for my spouse. Because if my spouse is witnessing the will, I can't get anything out of it either. So you leave $10,000 for me in your will, and you ask my husband to witness the will, I'm not going to get the $10,000. And why? Because the court is presuming that I exerted some influence over you, witnessing your will, and still have you leave something for me. There's an amendment to the law some years ago, though, where you can go to court and prove to the court. If you can prove to the court that there was no coercion, by witnessing the will did not in any way impact the person's making the gift to me or influence the person rather in making the gift to me, then the court would always still allow me to benefit. But you don't want to have that expensive process. So if the person is leaving something for you, don't witness it. And don't let your spouse witness the will as well. That's explaining to you what this whole probate is. And if the person does not make a will, then we're not going to get probate. We're going to get a grant of administration, or we call it letters of administration. And so many times person will come into my office and say, we went to collect money, but the person died leaving, or the person died and left the title at the bank and went to the bank, and the bank still must come back with letters of administration. Miss Boy, you can write that letter for me? And I explain to them that even though it's called letters of administration, it's really a court order that you're going to have to wait sometime nearly a year to get. It's not just a letter I could write in my office to say, dear bank, please give John Brown. You have to get it. It's a court order just like the probate. So both of them are similar in that they allow the persons who have been given these orders the right to go and share up the estate. But when you leave a will, we say it's probate. When you leave a will and the executor is the one who is dealing with it, then we say the executor has got probate, executor can go and share. When you don't leave any will, we apply for a grant of administration or letters of administration, and that is saying the person who is administering the estate has the right to go and share now after getting that document signed by the court called in letters of administration. That person can now go and start sharing up the assets. So, person dies without a will, who is going to apply? The spouse is going to apply. The spouse gets the grant of letters of administration, and the spouse can now start sharing. When the court signs that paper, signed and sealed by the court, then it's time to start sharing. And remember, I'm encouraging persons, don't leave it to chance for letters of administration. Write the will. Write the will. It's not going to kill us. We might feel so, but many people continue to write them. And they have not, and they are still alive, still on solid ground. So I encourage you to please write the will. The numbers to call 922-411-325. And the text line is 387-3183. 387-3183. And remember, you can also send an email, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. And remember, we have an office in Winchester Business Center, Shop 39, that's 15 Hope Road, just a little above the clock in Halfway Tree, and also at Jamaica National Building, Shop 6 upstairs in the heart of Ocho Rios. That's that blue and yellow building, the Jamaica National Building, just upstairs the steps. And just give us a call if you want to go and see us at any of the offices. Good if you call before. And the office number is 908-1950, 908-1950, or 908-3518. This person is sending a message to Ms. Finley. The eviction notice has expired. The tenant living from the premises in Portland. So you would have to do the recovery of possession in Portland. And you can get a bailiff or a district constable to serve it for you, but the matter is going to be heard in Portland, where the property is not where you live. This is Land Solution.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3 o'clock. For all your fire protection needs, contact Fire Equipment Sales and Services. They have fire extinguishers and hoses, water safety boots, first aid kits, gloves and goggles, overalls and safety helmets, demonstration for fire drills, also staff training. They offer competitive rates. Fire Equipment Sales and Services, 6 Park Avenue, Kingston 5, 876-649-0618 or 876-486-6587. Don't take chances. Prevent fire. The Lauriston and Thompson Pen 4-H Club presents their Stew Festival and Farmers Market 2022, Saturday, November 5, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Brooklyn Park, Thompson Pen, Spanish Town. Everything stewed, concerts, rides for the kids, and more. Be there.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
It's Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, taking your calls on 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send your text messages, but also your WhatsApp messages. That number for the Land Solutions 876-387-3183. 876-387-83. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. In a moment, once again, here is attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Another text message. Remember the text line 387-3183. 387-3183. The person who sent the text message earlier, if probate was granted and the beneficiaries who are entitled to land does not have registered title on the indenture document, what can be done to add the name? The person has sent a follow-up explanation. Just to follow up, the indenture document is in the name of the person who died, the deceased. How can the beneficiary's name be added? No. So it's not going to be added. What you're going to have to do is that the executors now will need to do new indentures to the beneficiaries. So suppose there's one indenture document now, but the person died leaving the property for 5 children, then do 5 separate indentures. And it's best if the children, if the beneficiary, would survey their portions, because it's good when you have the indenture and you can refer to the actual survey diagram, the survey department examination number, etc. So each beneficiary should get an indenture and it's going to refer. Whereas John Brown was the owner of land comprised in indenture dated so and so, and whereas John Brown died on such and such a date, and whereas John Brown by his will gave property described in the schedule to his daughter Mary, to wit, and you see, I give 1/4 acre of my land at Southville, St. Catherine to my daughter Mary. And whereas the executor is desirous of effecting the gift, and the executor hereby transfer the property described in the schedule to Mary. And Mary will get her own indenture. The indenture is going to be stamped at the stamp office, and then it's going to be recorded at the Island Records Office. And when you have your recorded indenture, you're in a good position, you use your survey diagram, your intention, you move to title. Of course, you might run into subdivision problems because if daddy has left the one piece of land to be cut off for the 3 children, then you might have subdivision problems. But if you can show that you have had this piece, daddy gave it to you, or since daddy died, you have been living on it and you have occupied your little share, or you have been farming on it, if you can have proof to show that you have occupied your little space for more than 7 years, then you might be able to ask for a waiver of the subdivision. But I thank you for that question. Is one we have not got anything like that in a little while. So you might ask me, what is this indenture? It's what we call a common law title, and sometimes we call it a conveyance. So it's a document that persons will have when you don't have a registered title that's issued by the titles office. But these indentures are usually recorded at the Island Records Office. Because as a country, we are moving from most of our properties we call them deeds as well. These indentures were really the documents that we would have for properties. So, for example, when I look at like for the Staggerville Baptist Church, there's an indenture from 1830 something, like 50 pages handwritten, recorded in the Island Records Office, and still there. Original indenture still there. So those were the documents that persons used in the older days. Because remember, the Titles Office, the Registration of Titles Act just came in the late 1890s. So before that, you used to use indentures. So and a lot of the properties, because they don't have a title, people still use. Because we really have a dual system of registration, We have the titling system running with the deed system, which is the same indenture. So you have that, is better than nothing. Because it's a good foundation to get a title. Because when you show that is indenture that he had before, and you show your indenture now, and show that the probate is there, and you have your survey diagram, you're 90. When you come into my office with that, I say to you, I am 99% sure I'll be able to get you a title. And in a short while, because that's good documentation. So ask the lawyer who did the probate for you to get the executor to transfer the property, not really a transfer, to convey the property to you using another indenture, and then you use that. Don't settle and be satisfied and say, hey, I have an indenture, though. Use it to get a registered title. This is the ultimate aim. Too many persons come and say, I want to pay tax, I want to pay tax. The ultimate aim is not to pay tax. The ultimate aim is to get a title for your property. Anybody can pay tax. So if you go into the tax office, if you even send a ghost in the tax office, they're going to collect the money. What you need is a title that you can walk into an institution and borrow money to start a small business, or to get a student loan for your children, or your relatives, or your nieces and nephews. But let us move from there to look to see what we really need is to get titles. Realize that 2030 is 8 years away, and we are nowhere near where we are in terms of our development goals. And I've always said we can't talk about 2030 vision and first world status when our titling situation is in a mess. When people still buying land from people who don't even investigate if they are the owners. When people still see Mr. Brown with his land and say, sell me a piece and just get a receipt and put up a $50 million house, that mindset has to change. If we're going to move forward as a people, and if we're going to leave a good heritage, good legacies for our children. The numbers to call 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. So the numbers 876-922-411325, and the text line is 387-3183. You can also send a WhatsApp message to that number, 387-3183, or send an email, gloria@landssolutionsja.com. gloria@landssolutionsja.com. And remember, in response to this listener, you don't have to get a lawyer to make your will know. I mean, I'm a lawyer, and I really should not be telling you not using a lawyer, but you can get a will form, especially if your will is simple. The will forms are very user-friendly, very easy to use, very easy to manipulate. You can get a will form and make your will. It tells you where persons are to sign. It is very instructive. But I want to encourage you, though, if you use the will form, if the will does not go over to the second page, don't sign the second page. So if you do have a lot of assets and you're just using the first page, you and the witnesses only sign the first page. If you have a lot of assets, I'm talking about the will form, and you're going to go over to the second page because you have a lot of things and you have to do not sign the first page if you're going over into the second page. So let me explain again. When you look at the will form, you can get them at the pharmacies, I'm told. You can get them at the bookstores. Will forms, easy. This is the last will and testament of John Brown, and it tells you where to put your address, where to put the names of the executors, and the will form makes provision for 2 executors, even though you can have 4. Just grab a will form, write the will. So what I'm explaining though is that if you have suppose you have a lot of children, you want to will different things to, and the will is long, and you have to go over to the second page of the will. Don't sign the front page. Even though you see the space there for you to sign and the witnesses to sign, don't sign that page. Sign the second page where the will ends. If you don't have a lot of assets and you're not going to have a very long will and it's just going to go on the first page, sign the first page, but don't sign the second page. Because when you sign the first page and the will ends and you sign the second page, we have to go and explain to the court that the will really ended at page 1, but out of an abundance of caution or out of ignorance, the person signed page 2, and the same thing happens if you sign on both pages 1 and 2. We have to explain that the will really ends at page 2, but out of an abundance of caution or out of ignorance, the persons went and signed all of those things. So please remember. And remember, when you are signing the will, you must be there with 2 other persons. 3 persons must be there when the will is being signed, you and 2 other persons. You can't ask me to sign the will today and your friend to sign it tomorrow. It's not going to be valid. The 2 of us must be there at the same time when the will is being signed. The number to call, 922-4113. Hey, Miss G, hope you are doing well. I'm listening to you on the radio. I understand that you are saying everyone that has a copy of the will going to get a percentage of your assets. And what about the copy at your office? No, that's not what I said. What I said is that the executor, so when you write your will, you're going to appoint people to be your executor or executors, and you can have 4 executors. The executors are the person who are going to make sure that everything you say in your will is complied with, and they are the ones who the court is going to give the order to share. It's the executors, I said, who are going to get a portion of your estate. The executors are entitled to 6% of your estate. So you can have as many as 4 executors. If you have 1 executor, that one will get the 6%. If you have 2 executors, they have to share it. So 1 will get 3 and 1 will get 3. If you have 3 executors, 1 will get 2%, 1 will get 2, and the other one will get 2. That's how it adds up to 6. If you have the 4 executors, 1 gets 1.5, the other 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. That's percentage of your estate. So the executors get 6% of your estate. So your estate is, suppose you died and what you died leaving with a house valued $5 million. That means executors are to get $300,000 to share among themselves. Or if it's 1 executor to share, for that executor to get 300,000, or if it's 2 of them to share between themselves. That's what I'm trying to say, Mr. B. So it's not the person who has a copy of your will who's going to get anything out of it, it's the executors. Because everybody could get a copy and come and claim. So no, it's the executors, the person you name in your will to say, yes, these are the persons who are in charge, who must take charge of my estate, who must make sure that whoever I say must get this, gets it. Then those are the persons who must get the 6%, not somebody who has a copy, unless that person is your executor. And it's good to hear you, sir. So the number to call 922-411-325, and the text line is 387-3183. And remember, we have an office in Ontario, and I will be there this Thursday between 10 and 1. So give us a call, make an appointment. And remember, if you need to get a title, just send me a message. Just send me a text message, and I'll explain that a little later. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Colonel Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
It's the final segment of Land Solutions for today. Get in those questions you've been reluctant to call through with. Here's your opportunity. 15 minutes to go in today's edition of Land Solutions. And it's over to you, our listeners, to call in and get your questions answered right now. If you've been wavering and uncertain and unsure, do it now before time runs out for the rest of this afternoon. In the meantime, let's remind you of the numbers. If you wish to ask a question or seek clarification or otherwise question land-related matters, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number. That number is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the JN Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. You're encouraged to call ahead before turning up at the offices of the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company. The numbers to call: 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. If you wish to get in touch with the Ocho Rios office of the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, that number is 876-974-6083. 876-974-6083. And remember, a lawyer is on duty every Thursday from 10 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. Once again, here's attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Please remember the numbers to call: 922-411-325 and the text line 387-3183. 387-3183. The text line is 387-3183, or the WhatsApp number is the same number. This is a text message. I got to purchase a piece of land. Person says it's still paying mortgage. My thing is I would love to sell 2 lots of it. The rest I would like to get some good investment on. What's your best advice? So you have purchased a piece of land and you want to cut off 2 pieces and to sell. I would need to get a little bit more if I'm going to, and I don't think that's really a lawyer might be the best person. I could just give you some suggestions. But you might need to look at another set of professionals. But I'll talk to you afterwards. This person, or ask you to give me a call after the program. But if you want to sell 2 lots of it, you know that you have to get the property surveyed and apply for what we call subdivision, and that's not going to be done very, very quickly. It takes time. So you have to get your surveyor to come in now and to cut it in 3 lots. You're going to keep the biggest lot, I suspect, and then you're going to be selling 2 others. And sometimes persons will do that because you want that money to help you with the investment and to put in the infrastructure. But land is the way to go these days, and you're thinking, I guess, the way of how I'm encouraging persons to think, to see how you can make the best out of what you have. My dad willed 25 acres in addition to 0.25 given to him with a common law title. Can he will both parcels to his children? So you willed, my dad was willed 25 acres in addition to another portion given to him with a common law title. Can he will both parcels to his children, even though it's part of a subdivision where titles cannot be released because of infrastructure work? Can he transfer it while alive? What's the process? All right. So you're saying that if the father has this property, but it's a part of a subdivision, so he's not been able to get title, but it is his, so he needs to make the will. And I'm encouraging persons, don't wait until these matters are sorted out, because some of them, unfortunately, will not be sorted out in our lifetime. But it's yours, will it, so that the struggle can be continued with your relatives. So you have not been able to succeed. You have started the process. When you will it, and those who will it will continue the process. It is yours. Don't wait to sort it out. That's important. Secondly, can he transfer it while he's alive? He can't transfer because he doesn't have a title. From what you're saying to me, because it's a subdivision and the infrastructure work not in. He doesn't have a title, so he's not going to be able to transfer it. But so he's going to will it. I'm not too sure about if it's a family subdivision or etc. But I would love for this person to give me some more information as well. Because I realize the challenge that you said is happening. And you say it's not 0.25. It's 0.25 acres, not 25. Yes. So it is still the same information. The acre. Same information. He can't, if he doesn't have a title, he can't transfer. If a transfer is suggesting that he's going to put in your name, he doesn't have any documentation. He doesn't have a title to do that. So he's going to be making a will and trying to sort it out, of course, while he's still alive. And it's family property I'm seeing. And I ask that because some years ago, a decision was taken that when it comes to things like family property, people should be allowed to get their titles. And then it's for the family to sort out the infrastructure. The parish council should not be policing a family to say, if you don't put in the 40-foot road, we're not going to allow the children to get their titles. And the reality is that the children are already living on the properties. So it's something that we need to enforce, because we Rolls-Royce kind of system when we don't even have donkey cart infrastructure or we don't have the wherewithal to even enforce these things that we are saying. So we are saying to the person, I'm not giving you any title because you don't put in the road and the light and the water and the turning circle and the fire hydrant and the stop sign. When people are already living there, it's given to them by their parents. Give them their title, release the subdivision, put a condition on it to say the parish council will not be responsible in the infrastructure. And give people the title so they can go to the bank and improve. They say, we have kept back poor people for generations because of these things. You have so you have persons who do not even understand the implication of these things, enforcing these things, and don't realize the implication of what they have done to families over the years. The family and the person who has sent the text is saying, release the person, let the children go and get the title so they can leave it, they can will their peace to their children, or use it to start a business, or use it to educate the children so they can go to university or to college and improve their lives. Stop holding back people in this country with this whole subdivision thing. Because the reality is that while you are holding them back on paper, they are on the ground building. So you're in the office holding them back and they are way ahead of you. So these are things that we need to look at as a nation and realize that these are not as these things we're trying to enforce. It's just holding back people. And what the person saying, they have held them back so long that 5 siblings have now died, leaving 3. They have been trying to do this for 20 years. That's exactly what I'm saying. Ridiculous. Which means another generation has to come to start this over. And I'm going to ask this person to give me a call a little later, please, at about 4 o'clock. Let me see what I can do about that. It's so sad. So sad. The numbers to call 922-411-325. Okay. And this person who was asking, okay, said, okay, you heard me loud and clear and will give me a call. That's good. this client is making this even more interesting because his 5 siblings have now died. They've been fighting this for over 20 years. Her father is now 93. His brothers are 82 and 85, and parish is going to tell them say if they don't put in infrastructure, they can't get title. 5 have died, and 3 of these 3 who are alive. The youngest one is 82. And you have persons who do not even understand the implication of these things, enforcing, and we know how power is in Jamaica, what power does to us when we know, yes, I can do it, I can dictate what is to happen, and I can decide whether you live or die, whether you get title or don't get title. Okay, I'm going to see what I can do to try to sort out that particular client. So sad. So sad. Many Jamaicans die. Many persons die without seeing this elusive title. Like when the Bible talk about those in Hebrews who thought they would long to have seen that day, who long to have seen the particular time, the particular time, but they only got a glimpse of the promise, or never. They just had the promise, but were not able to partake of it. And that's what is happening. So many persons buy this land with a lot of promise, or have been willed the property, got the family land with a lot of promise, and have not been able to. Have not been able to do anything about the promise because it eludes them. Wow. So I'm saying to all of you out there with family land and having the same challenge, give me a call. And I'm going to ask this particular client to give me a call. Let me at least take up this one to see how we can do. So daddy at 93 can be able to get something, can be able to see a title. And uncles at 82 and 85. And the client who is talking to me is 63. Can you imagine the client who sent the message 63? The can't get a title, daddy is 93. Uncle 82, uncle 85, the other 5 aunties and uncles have died already. And look at we intend for the entire generation to die and don't see this elusive title. And yet some persons can look away and get a title in no time. People can look away and get a title in no time because they know what to do. Can't be fair. Cannot be fair. So what am I encouraging us to do today? I'm encouraging us as always to sort out the titles. Let us have the titles. While we are neglecting the land, while we are selling off the land, while we are doing all kinds of things, there are persons who have seen the value of Jamaica. So while we are there, especially those in diaspora, some of us while we are there bad mouth in Jamaica, believe me, you need to come and see what's happening over here. Every corner we are building on. And we are building proper structures. Okay, a lot of persons are coming in and buying out the properties because they see the value. They can see afar, and I want us to have that far away vision and realize that this piece of rock is valuable. Try and get your little piece. All of those with the family lands that you have neglected, sort it out. I said to persons, if you know you're not coming back, even sell it so you can improve where you are. You can buy something where you are living abroad, but don't just walk away and leave the assets. Older generation, let the young people keep the young people in the loop. Don't hide the information from them. Let them know, let them be aware so that they can know even where the boundary pegs are so the neighbors will not move them at night. Let them know that that mango tree is over the line, over our line, but the pear tree is over the neighbor's line. Let them know these things. Keep them in the loop. Remember, listeners, you can give me a call in my office, 908-1950 or 908-3518. And we have an office in Oterios. I'll be there this Thursday, Jamaica National Building, Shop 6 in the heart of Oterios, or we are at Winchester Business Center, Shop 39. I want to thank you so much for sharing Land Solutions. Thanks to Dervan. Thanks to Adrian. And I look forward to sharing again with you. I am Gloria Brown. Have a good day.
Protecting Jamaica's borders from illicit imports and exports is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Effective immediately, children 12 years and younger can access free medical care at the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI. This arrangement is in response to the increase in viral illnesses and resulting in overcrowding at the Bustamante Hospital for Children, which is usually seen this time of year. Children and the elderly are among the most vulnerable groups, especially at this time, as the flu and the gastroenteritis season intensifies. Jamaicans are reminded to only take paracetamol and to visit the nearest health center if symptoms do not improve. The proceeding was a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Living a glass house, don't throw stones. And if you can't take blows, don't throw blows. If you live in a glass house, throw stones.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here in your program. Both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Before we had to break for Land Solutions, we started reading for you a column attributed to Dr. Christopher Tufton as a guest columnist in today's Gleaner. The caption of his column is False Narratives and Faulty Comparisons. And let's pick up where we left off. Managing public health in Jamaica is a challenging task. The neglect we have seen over the years, the underinvestment, the system that allows for free healthcare without distinguishing those who can pay from those who cannot, and the massive staff migration have made the task of providing proper healthcare very difficult. Still, this current administration is committed to achieving that goal. We are doing our best to allocate resources to the most critical areas. However, until more funds are available to us as a country and we establish universal access to healthcare based on increased allocations and ability to pay, we will continue to have challenges. Under this government, we embarked on the most ambitious capital expenditure initiative in public health since independence. 7 years ago, over $250 million has been invested. We now have architectural designs to upgrade and completely revolutionize Spanish Town Hospital, the University Hospital of the West Indies, St. Anne's Bay Hospital, and Maypen Hospital. We're also increasing our technological capacity by digitizing our information systems to create telemedicine platforms for better and remote treatment. We're placing modern diagnostic equipment in our hospitals and health centers. Chronic staff shortage continues to be a significant challenge, and this will only be fixed with greater collaboration around training. In the last 5 years, we have seen over 2,400 nurses leaving the public health system, primarily due to migration with no commensurate levels of replacement training. The situation is particularly chronic in areas of specialist nurses due to high overseas demand and limited capacity for training. To address this, we recently signed 2 MOUs with health systems in the United States to establish this type of collaboration under the recently announced Code Care Initiative. We're partnering with the private sector to provide services in areas we lack. We're correcting past wrongs and doing it with compassion, but there is so much more to do. I know the system is not perfect and we have challenges. As Minister of Health and Wellness, being exposed to the realities, I hurt each day knowing that Jamaicans must wait months or years for surgeries or see their loved ones suffer for lack of attention and inadequate resources. I assure the people of Jamaica that we are dedicated to improving the public health system and correcting the mistakes of the past. Dr. Christopher Tufton is Jamaica's Minister of Health and Wellness and a Member of Parliament for St. Catherine West Central. So that's the guest column, today's guest column in the Gleaner, written by Dr. Christopher Tufton. A pushback from all the questions, concerns, and calls for his resignation. This is his response, published in today's Gleaner. What do you think? 876-922-4112-5 are the numbers to call. 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Let's clear some of these messages on WhatsApp. Some, goodness, it's a lot. Some of it came in yesterday, in fact. Barry says, Sir Malcolm, you need to set up a diaspora investment fund. Say every working Jamaican in the diaspora puts $200 average to a common fund monthly to invest in Jamaica. Barry. Thank you for your message, Barry. We humbly suggest you make that submission to the Diaspora Affairs, Consular and Diaspora Affairs Unit in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. That's what we would humbly suggest. Thank you for your message. Gina Palmer, good day to you. Hello to Angelia Christian, who is still here in Jamaica working and at the same time trying to get some R&R, rest and relaxation. Let's see. Let's go to this message. This one is from Frank Lawrence. He says, greetings, Brother Dervan. Although I have not called for a while, I'm still a regular listener to your program. Regarding the recent controversy about the naming of Sabina Park, I think as local historians searching for truth, we should be more tolerant with other viewpoints in order to arrive at the truth. We should not be too quick to disregard, discount, or downplay some historical accounts that may not measure up exactly with what is considered dominant documentations because, example, history is always built on the side of the victor. We just have to read some of the accounts given by both sides of a war. We should be willing to search for truth and not discard some of the legends, folklore, and anecdotes that may relate to parts of an estate, as there are so many around us in this area. Example, Charles Hill, David Gully, Mary Bottom, to name a few, which are minor locations on some of the original slavery plantations on which it is so difficult to find slave burial sites. Thanks again for keeping local history stimulated and alive. From Free Villager, use this designation for my reference, Reverend Dr. Frank Lawrence. Thank you very much, Free Villager, for your message on WhatsApp. Hello to Ambassador Curtis Ward in Washington, D.C. Well, in the DMV, we should say. The D for Washington, D.C., the M for Maryland, and the V for Virginia. Hello to Norman Wright, who is always sending us these thought-inspiring quotations. Thank you, Norman Wright. Hello. Oh, who is this now? This one says, "'Twas good seeing you last Saturday." Who is this now? Just to assure you that Power 106 FM is back up and running this morning. Thanks for your kind intervention. Do continue to keep well and safe. Oh, just as I thought. Thank you very much for following up. Thank you. And I think my impression is, after our conversation on Saturday, that you don't necessarily want me to call your name. And right, so we'll just leave it at that. We're happy to hear. All the best to you and your husband. Take care. And you too, please continue to keep well and safe. Good to know Power 106 FM is back up and running after having that blackout on Saturday morning. Continuing our scanning of these multiple and varied messages from home and abroad. James in East London has sent us the usual collection of stories from the United Kingdom. 2 men dead after police called to reports of gunshots in Lambeth, South London on Sunday. Police sealed off an area of Birmingham after residents were frightened by gunshots in the early hours of the morning. Woman in 60s dies in stabbing and another seriously injured as man arrested over murder. This is the United Kingdom. The blotters coming out of the United Kingdom. Jess had to use Braille texts throughout her time at university and make her own learning material. A woman is celebrating after she smashed through what she has called the triple glazed glass ceiling to become Britain's first blind and black barrister. Jessica Ainaba, aged 23, qualified in October 2022 after studying for 5 years at a London university. People with information are asked to call police via 101, quoting reference CAD 6166 300 CT. 2 men have been killed following a shooting in Railton Road, Brixton last night. Officers, including firearms officers, were called to the scene. This is all coming out of the UK. R.I.P. Perm, South London rapper, sadly passes away. Royal family, King Charles's forgotten heartbreak after favorite horse died while he was riding it. Uh-oh. Let's go to the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Would you like to try something, but the world would have crumbled. Call behind thy back.
Another of the stories coming out of the UK, Swella Braverman has brought Home Office into disrepute, says Priti Patel. Those are just some of the stories coming out of the UK. Good afternoon to Paulette Saunders, who has sent us a voice note, which we haven't been able to listen to just yet. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Like your selection today. Is our government the glass house? I don't know, Cuban in Georgia. What do you think? Anyway, he goes on to say, I'm upset because I'm upset because one baby died. It's like all of us dead. Jamaica is burning at the expense of the party. We need Jamaica to be first. Party can stay for last, says Cuban in Georgia. Thank you very much for your message, Cuban in Georgia. Here's another message, a couple of messages. Is it the same one or this is coming from Crocs in Black River. We're going to defer to the second message, Crocs. That looks like the completed message as opposed to your first message. So Crocs in Black River says, greetings. I have my own questions for the arrogant Dr. Tufton, he says, and he has arrogant in capital letters. Why have we up to this moment not heard from the medical experts, such as the CEO of the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, the CMO, Chief Medical Officer, or even your PS? And in brackets, he puts SIC, SIC, Press Secretary, Mr. Dunstan Brand. Is it because the more persons who speak, the more difficult it would be for a false narrative to remain consistent? Thou protest too much. I think you should take the advice given in that very Jamaican ad that is voiced by Jesse Blake and played during Farm Talk in the mornings. Clear way from Crocs in Black River. Thank you very much for your message, Crocs in Black River. Clifton Henry says, good afternoon, Professor Malcolm. Oh, you're too kind. Could you update us on the internet outage? It has been over 24 hours. I have not heard anything from Flow, who are our providers. Flow, anybody from Flow listening, please? Would love to hear. We have a message here from Clifton who wants to know what's the latest with the internet outage. Flo, do you have a word? Please call us 876-922-4112-5. Any representative from Flo who is authorized to speak on these matters? Your customers want to know what's the situation with the internet outage. Clifton Henry says it's been more than 24 hours. Flo, over to you. Feel free to call us. As we said, if you are cleared to speak to the press, if you're the one who speaks to the press, give us a call, please. And so that our listeners who are your customers can get an idea of what's happening or not happening. Spider says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. This identical letter you just read could have been sent to Andrew Holness when Dr. Fenton Ferguson was Minister of Health. Only thing would change is the date. Just a pity Tufton didn't pen the same words to Andrew. This is child's play to how Andrew was carrying on, shedding tears and all. But now the shoe is on the other foot. It's blasphemous to talk about it. That's all I have to say for now, says Spider. Thank you for your message, Spider. Here's another one. This one says, good day. My sympathy to the parents of the babies who died. It's tragic. Losing a child stays with one for life. I am concerned that whichever set of politicians, the subject would be set, right? Whichever set of politicians is in power, these things keep occurring. It's gross incompetence and needs to stop. Parents, you need to parents, you need to file a class action suit against the state. It will take at least 50 years to be resolved, but at least one person might be around by then. Thank you for your message. Not sure who sent that. Not seeing any name or moniker or nomenclature. So let's move on. This one from Nardia. Nardia says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. How are you, sir? I'm asking you, please send belated birthday greetings to my cousin, Cheryl Moore Matthew. God's richest blessings on you. God's richest blessings on you, cuz. Enough love. So that's happy birthday coming from Nardia to her cousin, Cheryl Moore, who is in the United States of America. Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for sharing a couple of stories with us. Thank you and all the best. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine says, good afternoon, Dervan. As we each express our natural genius, we all elevate our world. A quotation there from Robin Sharma, shared with us by Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Thank you for your multiple messages on WhatsApp. Let's go through the Facebook messages now. Willie Wilson says, hello, Dervan. Happy Monday to you and Power 106 family from Kojak Country Lifestyle YouTube channel in Content District, Bogwalk. Raining here. Keep dry, Willie Wilson. Keep up the good work, he says. Thank you. Angelia Christian says, hello, good afternoon from Angel Foundation, UKJA. Good afternoon, Angel. Inez Iona Campbell is greeting everybody. Good afternoon, Inez Iona Campbell. Mikey D says, good evening. Still afternoon here in the corporate area, but we recognize that where you are in London, it's evening time, nighttime even. It's or is your clock, well, even if you're back to 5 hours ahead of us, you are still ahead of us. Yes, let's see. Yes, I think daylight saving time. Daylight saving time. Yes, they're back to 5 hours. Back to 5 hours, being 5 hours ahead of us, as opposed to 6. So that changed yesterday. And I believe, is it this coming weekend that it will change for the United States, Canada, and other countries within this zone. Yeah, 8:54, 6 minutes to 9 o'clock in the night in the UK. All right, let's go to who is this now? Ricardo. Thank you for those messages, Ricardo. Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada. Velta Wilson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. To you too, Velta Wilson. And Lisa Brown Campbell, you are correct. Nevada Day was observed on the 28th of October, where you are, because you are in Las Vegas, Nevada, aren't you? Yes, you are. Good to hear from you, Lisa Brown Campbell in Las Vegas, Nevada. Dr. Karen Dunkley says, greetings, the Jamaica diaspora, Northeast USA. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your warm greeting. Thank you, Ambassador Karen Dunkley. That's what you are. I'm just a humble servant. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. To you too, Faye Weller. Velta Wilson says, thank you, Miss Gloria Brown. Norman Hines in St. Thomas says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners. Good afternoon, Norman Hines. Thank you very much for tuning in. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Let's hop across to YouTube and see what's happening over there. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. To you too, Cherry Henry. Asha Ash says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Just tuning in from London, England. How's the weather? It's been wet. It's been raining and some wind here and there. But we have been in this building for the past going 2 hours now. So we don't know what else has happened since we came into the building. Asher Ash, that's the weather for you. Keith Sampson says, Mr. Malcolm, do you know that you have some radio stations who are defying the Broadcasting Commission's ban on playing music that glorify crime? I won't name them on this platform, but this is outrageous. Some are doing this at night, but one in particular is doing so in daytime. I hope the Broadcasting Commission takes a zero tolerance approach and fine them heavily. This is unacceptable. Keith Sampson, all you have to do is to send the information to the Broadcasting Commission. That's it. And Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida says, Dervan, Dr. Tufton's article is spot on. He goes on to say, Sir D, I'm inviting all in the diaspora located in the 13 southern states of the USA to vote for Dr. Rose Marie Lewis for the next global representative for these areas. So Mr. Lewis is being a good husband. And so he will get all the good things that will come his way for being a good husband, because that's his wife, Dr. Rose Marie Lewis, who is vying for the position of Global Jamaica Diaspora Representative for the Southern United States. And he tells us the voting platform will be launched shortly. Let's once again remind members of the diaspora who are vying for any of these positions that both sides of the story and the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online remain prime platforms for you to put your pitch to your potential constituents in the diaspora. Over to you, Jamaicans in the diaspora. Elroy Joseph says, good afternoon, Teach, and all your listeners. Rain, rain, and more rain in Mandeville. Stay dry and warm as best as you can, Elroy, in wet Mandeville, Manchester. No surprises there. The system is on to the south of us. No surprises there. And did we miss another of the messages? Keep them coming. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number. There's more after the break.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
The Cattle Breeders Society of Jamaica presents its Minute Livestock Show and Beef Festival at Minute Estate, Brownstown, St. Anne, Thursday, November 10. Under the theme, Smart Livestock Production, Safer, Cleaner, Better. Sponsored by Nutralix, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Jamaica 4-H Clubs, Hydro Fees, the Jamaica Dairy Development Board, Miranda Bauxite Limited, Hot NSPA Trust, and H&L Agro.
The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Effective immediately, children 12 years and younger can access free medical care at the University Hospital of the West Indies. This arrangement is in response to the increase in viral illnesses and resulting overcrowding at the Bustamante Hospital for Children, which is usually seen this time of year. Children and the elderly are among the most vulnerable groups, especially at this time, as the flu and gastroenteritis season intensifies. Jamaicans are reminded to only take paracetamol and to visit the nearest health center if symptoms do not improve. The proceeding was a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
So if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. And if you can't take blows, brother, don't throw blows. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. And if you can't take blows, sister, don't throw blows.
Que ahora es en español. Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4 heures. Time just changed. That was a minute past. It's now 2 minutes past 4 o'clock. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:02. 现在几点了？4:02分. 2 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. More messages coming in. Here's H. Morgan in Birmingham, England. Yes, Dervan. We are now 5 hours ahead of Jamaica. Now the clock goes back 1 hour, or it went back by 1 hour last night. This will go on until the end of March next year when we go back to 6 hours ahead. Thanks for the confirmation, H. Morgan in Birmingham, England. Neville, otherwise known as Salah, says, good afternoon. Dervan, good afternoon. Dr. Tufton has a way of doing things. 2016 and between there were 2016 and between 217 babies died at the time. Dr. Tufton blamed the mothers of the babies. Now we're hearing of 14 babies who have died. Salah from Kingston. Thank you very much for your message, Salah from Kingston. Clearly, more work needs to be done in managing the care and treatment of expectant mothers and their babies. No question about it. And yes, we are sure there are people who tell us they work very hard and they go the extra mile to do this and do that. Well, it just means we're going to have to work even harder. That's really what it means. Because if we're striving for excellence in healthcare and elsewhere, it's going to require that stick-to-itiveness, consistency, and a never say die attitude. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And let's see. Sean is saying hi. Good afternoon, Sean. Thanks for tuning in. All the very best. Thank you very much for your message. Just going through and trying to ensure that we cover our bases, all the platforms with messages. Thank you very much. Keep those messages coming in right here on both sides of the story. We were going through the numbers on the Gleaners website, jamaica-gleaner.com. And the headline is nearly 1,300 murders committed so far in Jamaica. Nearly 1,300 murders have been committed in Jamaica since the start of the year, an 8% increase year on year. In the latest Jamaica Constabulary JCF statistics on serious crimes, as at October 29, a total of 1,294 homicides have been recorded. This represents 92 when compared, or is it 92 more when compared with the corresponding period in 2021. St. James, 178 murders. Westmoreland, 125. St. Catherine North, 121. St. Andrew South, 119. St. Catherine South, 104. Those are the top 5 leading police divisions when it comes on to murders. Can we repeat them? The 5 leading police divisions in Jamaica when it comes on to murders. St. James, 178. Westmoreland, 125. St. Catherine North, 121. St. Andrew South, 119. And St. Catherine South, 104. Portland has the fewest murders with 10. Don't want to talk too loud. Let's knock on wood. Fewest murders in Portland, 10. The loss of any life is to be regretted. And as we say, one murder is one too many. So Portland has the fewest murders with 10, a 38% reduction when compared to the period under review in 2021. Shootings, injured people, and rape have also declined. Robberies have increased by 21%. You see, that's what happens when the illegal channels, the illicit channels that the criminal elements amongst us were accustomed to, well, that's where they used to feed. They used to feed from those sources. Those sources are drying up. And so what are they doing? Remember, we spoke about this some time ago. I'm not sure how many people listening remember this, but we did speak about it, that we would have seen an increase in robberies. And we've been seeing this for a few years now in terms of the increase in robberies. That's because of the sources of illicit resources are drying up, if not dried up. And that means that these misguided fellow citizens of ours are preying, preying, preying on those of us who are law-abiding citizens of this country. So they're preying on the small businesses and preying on the big businesses as well. And even our sanitation workers robbing a sanitation worker. It's more than one of those, actually. A couple of those of sanitation members being robbed while they are trying to take up the garbage in communities. Yes, that has happened. That has happened. How did we get here? We have become so depraved. Too many of us. Too many of us. All right, so that's where the numbers are right now. As at the 29th of October, 1,294 homicides, otherwise known as murders. 1,294. Now, looking at the numbers through the years, we have statistics dating back to 1970, the lowest year for murders in Jamaica since the authorities started to keep records along those lines. The lowest was in 1971, 145 murders. 1971, 145 murders. Before that, in 1970, it was 152. So we dropped from 152 in 1970 to 145 in 1971. Now, in terms of when we got into the thousands, well, that started back in 1997. The first time we breached the 1,000 mark in terms of murders in this country. 1997, we lost 1,038 people to murders in Jamaica. 1997, 1,038. The first time that we breached the 1,000 mark. We then went back to under 1,000 in 1998, 953 murders in 1998. We dropped a little lower again in 1999 with 849 murders. Then in the year 2000, we went up to 887 murders. By the time 2001 came around, we went back into the 1,000 bracket. So we went back up to 1,000 murders, 1,139 in 2001. In 2002, we experienced a drop to 1,045. By the time we got to 2003, we went back to under 1,000 murders in Jamaica in any given year. In that year, it was 975 in 2003. So we went back under 1,000. And then came 2004, and it was a most dramatic increase in murders. So whereas 2003, we had 975 murders in Jamaica, by the time we got to 2004, the end of 2004, we moved to 1,471 murders. 1,471 murders. Then that went up further the following year, 2005, to 1,674 murders at the end of 2005. Then there was a drop in 2006 to 1,340. Then we went back up in 2007 to 1,574 murders. By 2008, we breached the 1600 mark, 1,601 murders. In 2009, we went to 1,680 murders. And these are documented murders. By the time we got to 2010, there was a slight drop. Slight is relative. There was a drop from 1680 to 1428, from 1,680 murders in 2009 to 1,428 in 2010. In 2011, the figure dropped even more to 1,125. 2011, 1,125 murders. In 2012, when we celebrated 50 years of independence, political independence, we went down to 1,099. 1,000. We need to take a break, right? Yes, let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:16 on Power 106.
Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-922-41125, or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:17. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:17. 现在几点了？4:17 分. 17 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the students listening to us, all the schoolers from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Continuing, we were following up on a story published by the online Gleaner, the Jamaica-Gleaner.com website, telling us that we are almost at the 1,300 mark for murders since the start of the year. Almost at 1,300. We are 6 shy of 1,300 murders since the start of the year. We've been using the opportunity to look at these statistics through the years or down the years. And we stopped at 2012, where we moved from 1,125 the previous year to 1,099. By 2013, we were up again, this time to 1,201. 2014, we were down again, 1,005 murders for the year. 2015, up again, 1,207 murders. 2016, up further, 1,351. 2017, even further, 1,521. 2018, there was a drop in murders, 1,287. 2019, The numbers went back up, this time to 1,339. 2020, the number came down slightly to 1,323. 2021, we went back up to 1,463, 1,463. And so far, as at the 29th of October, 2022, 1,294 murders, an 8% increase over the same period last year. There's so much work to be done in this country. We really don't have time for petty partisan behavior. We have a lot of work to do. Let's get on with it. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. And the murders continue. St. Elizabeth man charged for murder. The police have charged Ricardo Cold Spring, 31-year-old unemployed of Castleton District in St. Elizabeth, with murder after he fatally stabbed a man in Braes River District in St. Elizabeth on Sunday, the 23rd of October. And dead is 30-year-old Kamar White, a higgler of Crossmond District, St. Elizabeth. Reports are that about 10 p.m., Cold Spring and White had a dispute when he used a knife to stab White in the chest. White was rushed to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The accused was charged after he gave a caution statement and a question and answer session conducted with him. Why is it so hard for us to resolve our disputes or disagreements? Why? Why is it so hard? Whatever happened to reasoning? We're not always going to agree, but as we always say, the least we can do is to agree to disagree. And you know the Jamaican expression. What happened to the Jamaican expression? For a peaceful life. For a peaceful life. So for a peaceful life, you overlook an offensive gesture or attitude. For a peaceful life. For a peaceful life. What happened to that Jamaican expression? Have we stopped living that expression? Gun and ammo seized at cemetery in Hanover. The Hanover police are reporting the seizure of an illegal firearm and several rounds of ammunition in the Hopewell Cemetery in Hopewell on Sunday afternoon. He was arrested in connection with the seizure. The police report that about 3:40 p.m. an intelligence-led operation was carried out at the cemetery in search of illegal guns. During the operation, lawmen carried out a search of people and the surroundings of a grave that was being dug and discovered a pistol with a serial number erased and a magazine containing 7 live 9mm rounds. The items were seized. So people are still arming. They're still harming themselves by arming themselves. It's still happening. And It's been going on for a while. No end in sight at the moment. And overseas, Musk floats paid Twitter verification, fires board. That's the headline. What does the story say? Billionaire Elon Musk is already floating major changes for Twitter and faces major hurdles as he begins his first week as the owner of the social media platform. Twitter's new owner fired the company's board of directors and made himself the board's sole member, according to a company filing Monday with the Securities and Exchange Commission. He's also testing the waters on asking users to pay for verification. A venture capitalist working with Musk tweeted a poll asking how much users would be willing to pay for the blue check mark that Twitter has historically used to verify higher profile accounts so other users know it's really them. Musk, whose account is verified, replied, "Interesting." Critics have derided the mark, often granted to celebrities, politicians, business leaders, and journalists as an elite status symbol. But Twitter also uses the blue check mark to verify activists and people who suddenly find themselves in the news, as well as little-known journalists and small publications around the globe, as an extra tool to curb misinformation coming from accounts that are impersonating people. The whole verification process is being revamped right now, Musk tweeted Sunday in response to a user who asked for help getting verified. So that's another of the stories. I think we're going to leave it there for now. Those are a couple of the trending stories on the Jamaica-Gleaner website. Continuing with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaner's website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Here's the latest bulletin, weather-wise, if you've been wondering what's happening. Tropical Storm Watch still in effect as Tropical Storm Lisa becomes a little stronger south of Jamaica. A tropical storm watch remains in effect for Jamaica as Tropical Storm Lisa continues to move south of the island. This means that tropical storm conditions continue to pose a possible threat to Jamaica. At 1 o'clock this afternoon, the center of Tropical Storm Lisa was located near latitude 15.4 degrees north, longitude 77.6 degrees west, or about 260 kilometers or 162 miles south-southwest of Rocky Point in Clarendon, Jamaica. Lisa is moving towards the west near 22 kilometers or 14 miles per hour, and a westward to west-northwestward motion is expected over the next few days. On the forecast track, the center will continue moving south of Jamaica today and south of the Cayman Islands tomorrow, before approaching Central America on Wednesday. Maximum sustained winds have increased to near 75 kilometers or 45 miles per hour with higher gusts, and slow strengthening is forecast during the next few days. Lisa could therefore become a hurricane over the northwestern Caribbean Sea by Sunday. Tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 165 kilometers or 105 miles from the center. Fishers on the Keys and Banks are reminded to exercise extreme caution at this time due to dangerous sea conditions associated with Tropical Storm Lisa now moving over Jamaica's southern offshore waters. The tropical storm has the potential to produce 50 to 100 millimeters or 2 to 4 inches of rainfall and strong gusty winds reaching near tropical storm force, mainly over eastern and southern parishes Additionally, flash flooding is likely over low-lying and flood-prone areas of eastern and south central parishes. Residents are advised to take precautionary measures and be ready for quick action if flooding is observed or if a warning is issued.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
For 50 years, helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We continue to do this in 2022. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Effective immediately, children 12 years and younger can access free medical care at the University Hospital of the West Indies. This arrangement is in response to the increase in viral illnesses and resulting overcrowding at the Bustamante Hospital for Children, which is usually seen this time of year. Children and the elderly are among the most vulnerable groups, especially at this time, as the flu and gastroenteritis season intensifies. Jamaicans are reminded to only take paracetamol and to visit the nearest health center if symptoms do not improve. The proceeding was a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The Issa Manning Cup schoolboy football competition is in full swing, and Power Play will bring you live reports and updates on the football matches. Listen to every Tuesday at 7:15 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM. Live reports will be brought to you by Chad Distributors Limited, KFC, and Alice Duane and Company Limited.
And before I miss, you always have fun. And if you live in a glass house, I beg you don't throw stones. No. And if you can't take those, well, don't throw.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 28. 现在几点了？5点28分。28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And let's see what this is now. Yeah, I was wondering when the BOJ would send out a release on this, because you know how it is. People have been spreading all kinds of rumors on via WhatsApp and elsewhere, which has prompted the Bank of Jamaica to respond. And the thing with responding to these instances of purveyors of fake news and other falsehoods is that you actually fall into their trap, and it's inescapable, because then now they get all the likes that they wanted to get, and all the other, the other elements that go with something that is considered salacious or otherwise. So you get that, and then the entity who is who is who is being misplaced, whose name is uh, being erroneously associated with this matter. The institution is then forced to put out a notice like the one that is out right now on Twitter. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not giving any legs to that. Bank of Jamaica has put it out, so those who are on social media and elsewhere, they will see the important notice from the Bank of Jamaica. But surely we have too many time wasters in this country, quite frankly. Natalie Winter says, "Hey Dervan from Wet Washington Gardens, Kingston 20." Welcome, Natalie Winter. Good to have you on board both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Some more messages have come in. Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada, has shared with us a link to the crew, the story of the Shenzhou 14 crew and ground team ready for class in space, says the story. Thanks for sharing, Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada. Clarky Bless in Huntstown, St. Mary says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Happy Tuesday to you and your listeners. With the threat of Tropical Storm Lisa to our beautiful island, I just want to use this medium to encourage my Jamaican brothers and sisters to stay safe. Don't take any chances." Clarky Bless in Huntstown, St. Mary. Thank you very much for your words of warning, Clarky Bless, and words of caution. Thank you. Clarky Bless in Huntstown, St. Mary. H. Morgan in Birmingham says, "Good afternoon to you, Dervan. My question is the government of Jamaica losing the will to curb the crime surge in the country? I just read in the Gleaner that nearly 1,300 murders on the island. If this trend is allowed to continue, the population will soon be wiped out." No, that's exaggerating now. And it seems it's mostly young men who are being killed. Parents brought up their little boys only to be wiped out by others before they have the chance to say thanks to their parents for bringing them up. Others join the gangs to wipe others out. Others are wiped out for no reason. It is a sad, sad situation, says H. Morgan in Birmingham. Thanks for your message. It's a situation only Jamaicans can fix. We are the ones we've been waiting for, as Barack Obama said. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Jamaica Love says, "Bless up, teach. We're not in civil war. God have mercy on us. Condolences." And that's in reference to the murder rate. Spider says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm, or should I say History Man. On Spanish Town Road, an area there called 2 Miles, where Delacree Park housing scheme is, that spot of land used to be called Wellside Lane. Those people were moved to St. Catherine. There's a lane on Old Harbour Road called Wellside Lane. Just wondering if it's some of those people who moved to that side named the lane Wellside Lane. This was, I think, in the late 60s to early 70s. Would have to check that, Spider. Thank you very much for your message and all the very best to you. Let's hop across to YouTube and see what's happening there. Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida says, "Dervan, let me send greetings to two of your ardent listeners, cousins Letty Vernon and Jean Hewitt of Kingston. Good afternoon, Miss Letty Vernon, Letty Vernon of Mandeville, and Jean Hewitt of Kingston. Thank you very much for being ardent listeners to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Rest assured, we have our fair share of troublemakers in this country. So we have to be careful. Those of us who love to surf the internet and go on social media platforms and click on every striking thing, let's just be careful, because we have some dangerous people amongst us. Dangerous people. And when they get going, when they are on the go, and these are some of the same people who tell us how much they love Jamaica. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And let's go to 1517. On this day in 1517, the priest and scholar Martin Luther approached the door of the castle church in Wittenberg, Germany, and nailed a piece of paper to it containing the 95 revolutionary opinions that would begin the Protestant Reformation. In his theses, Luther condemned the excesses and corruption of the Roman Catholic Church, especially the papal practice of asking payment called indulgences for the forgiveness of sins. That's where we're coming from, payment for the forgiveness of sins. Luther's frustration with this practice led him to write the 95 Theses, which were quickly snapped up, translated from Latin into German, and distributed widely. A copy made its way to Rome, and efforts began to convince Luther to change his tune. He refused to keep silent, however, and in 1521, Pope Leo X formally excommunicated Luther from the Catholic Church. That same year, Luther again refused to recant his writings before the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V of Germany, who issued the famous Edict of Worms, declaring Luther an outlaw and a heretic, and giving permission for anyone to kill him without consequence. Protected by Prince Frederick, Luther began working on a German translation of the Bible, a task that took 10 years to complete. The term Protestant first appeared in 1529 when Charles V revoked provision that allowed the ruler of each German state to choose whether they would enforce the Edict of Worms. A number of princes and other supporters of Luther issued a protest declaring that their allegiance to God trumped their allegiance to the emperor. They became known to their opponents as Protestants. Gradually, this name came to apply to all who believed the church should be reformed, even those outside Germany. By the time Luther died of natural causes in 1546, his revolutionary beliefs had formed the basis for the Protestant Reformation, which would, over the next 3 centuries, revolutionize Western civilization. On this day in 1671, Jamaica became the first British colony to set up a post office. That's right. On this day in 1671, Jamaica became the first British colony to set up a post office. The post office was established in the then capital, St. Diego de la Vega, or Spanish Town as it is known today. the Council of Jamaica appointed Gabriel Martin, a postmaster of Jamaica, as postmaster of Jamaica, with instructions to create a post office both at Passage Fort and St. Jago.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
I'm on this earth to give your praise, and all I ask for is longer days. I come to do the things that are right.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:15. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:15. 现在几点了？5点加15分。15 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Continuing with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Let's move on to the year 1776. On this day in 1776, in his first speech before the British Parliament since the leaders of the American Revolution came together to sign the Declaration of Independence that summer, King George III acknowledged that all was not going well for Britain in the war with the United States. The founder of the Girl Scouts was born on this day in 1860, Juliette Lowe. Juliette Lowe, Lowe. On this day in 1868, Postmaster General Alexander Williams Randall approved a standard uniform for postal carriers. 1874, on this day, Jamaica was being impacted by a hurricane. On this day in 1874, the hurricane lasted until November 2, 1874. 15 men lost their lives, including 3 captains. So it shouldn't surprise us if on a day like today, we have a tropical storm named Lisa impacting us. Nationalist Chinese leader Chiang Kai-shek was born on this day in 1887. He was the first constitutional president of the Republic of China. On this day in 1892, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle was published. The book was the first collection of Holmes stories, which Conan Doyle had been publishing in magazines since 1887. Benito Mussolini became Prime Minister of Italy on this day in 1922. Harry Houdini, the most celebrated magician and escape artist of the 20th century, died of peritonitis in a Detroit hospital. 12 days before, Houdini had been talking to a group of students after a lecture in Montreal when he commented on the strength of his stomach muscles and their ability to withstand hard blows. Suddenly, one of the students punched Houdini twice in the stomach. The magician hadn't had time to prepare, and the blows ruptured his appendix. He fell ill on the train to Detroit, and after performing one last time, was admitted to hospital. Doctors operated on him, but to no avail. The burst appendix poisoned his system, and on October 31st, this day, he died. Magicians and mediums throughout the world still gather on this night, Halloween, to honor the great Houdini. Halloween, All Hallows Eve, an ancient celebration dating back to the 6th or 7th centuries is a rather fitting time for this memorial celebration. The holiday combines the Druid Autumn Festival and the Christian celebration of Hallowtide, long associated with witches, ghosts, devils, spirits, and magic. Let's go to (1938). Donald Sangster, solicitor of St. Elizabeth, filed 2 suits on behalf of Alan Robinson, Mushet, Beswick, and Mrs. Beatrice Sinclair against H. Cresswell Powell in his capacity as director of the Jamaica Government Railway to recover damages for alleged negligence in connection with the accident which took place near Balaclava on July 30. In the accident, a pre-August 1 Emancipation holiday train carrying some 300 passengers derailed, causing the death of 32 people and injury to 105. Other suits were expected. Let's go to 1939. 17 couples who had been cohabiting without the benefit of clergy were married at a mass wedding here in Jamaica, arranged by the Women's Liberal Club at the Kingston City Mission. 8 clergymen of various denominations and Jim Russell, the marriage officer of Kingston, conducted the ceremony. It was not open to the public. Invitations had been sent to prominent citizens. 1939, here we go again, synonymous with this time of year. On this day in 1939, a late season hurricane started battering Jamaica on this day in 1939. The hurricane pursued the unusual course of moving eastwards just north of Jamaica, inflicting serious damage to roads and buildings and crops as it moved parallel to the north coast, with its center just over 50 miles offshore. That was 1939. Here's a message from Howie. He says, "Good afternoon, teacher. I'm at class this afternoon. It is windy, very cool and overcast. The south looking active for weather. Let's try solutions for Jamaica. It may just patch our problems." Thank you very much, Howie, for your message on WhatsApp. Natalie Winter says, "Hurricane, we need to be prepared regardless." Thank you very much for your message. And here's another blast from the past. Let's go to 1957. A Jamaican who threw a wallet into a driving examiner's lap with the remark, "There you are, go and buy yourself a drink," was fined £15 at Wolverhampton Court in England for offering a bribe. He was 27-year-old Victor Clark of 197 Lear Road, Wolverhampton, and he was also fined a further total of £15 on 5 charges of giving a false name to obtain a driving license. The incident took place shortly after Clark started his 4th driving test, having failed 3 previous tests. The wallet contained £3. Listen to this now. What has become a tourism mecca, the Friendly City? Let's go back to 1958. The Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce called on the government to help rid the town of the nuisance of scantily dressed tourists roaming the streets in bathing suits and shorts. Members were concerned because the example was being followed by Jamaicans, and the secretary is instructed to write the Ministry of Home Affairs asking that a notice should be placed at the airport asking visitors to wear swimsuits only at the beaches and short shorts on the hotel premises. For as one member says, it is not everything foreign that is good to follow. Jamaica has always been a conservative society, you know. It's just in recent times, as they say in Jamaica, we broke out. But we used to be very conservative. And let's go to 1961. The first of the joint meetings of the upper and lower houses of Parliament were to prepare proposals for a constitution for Jamaica to take effect on independence, and was held at Gordon House, Jamaica's Parliament building. Also in 1961, on this day, Hurricane Hattie, Hattie, on this day in 1961, Hurricane Hattie struck Belize, killing more than 400 people and leaving thousands homeless. There's a song, who was it? I think, was it Jimmy Cliff? I think Jimmy Cliff did a song on Hurricane Hattie. Hurricane Hattie. I think it was Jimmy Cliff who did that song. Yeah. Jimmy Cliff it was. So Hurricane Hattie struck on this day in 1961, and sadly, striking Belize and killing more than 400 people and leaving thousands homeless. Almost half of Belize City was demolished by the storm. The storm that would become Hattie had formed 2 weeks earlier in the Atlantic Ocean and then moved slowly west towards Central America. When it reached the coast of Belize, known as at the time as British Honduras, it was a Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 140 miles per hour and gusts reaching 180 miles per hour. It was the strongest storm to hit Belize to date. With accurate weather predictions still in their infancy, an attempted evacuation was only partially successful. The barrier islands of Turnef and Corker Keys were totally submerged by the storm surge. Hattie then brought a 12-foot surge to the mainland, flattening all buildings near the shore. Stan Creek, a small fishing village on the coast near Belize City, was completely destroyed. Following the hurricane, the village was rebuilt and renamed Hattieville. Here in Jamaica, the great Jimmy Cliff recorded a song called Hurricane Hattie. A Belizean calypso composer and musician also did a song about Hurricane Hattie, and it goes pretty much like this in lyrics. From Puerto Rico in west past Jamaica. Then they said it was heading for Cuba, but like a boomerang, it turned on its course to Belize, my land. What a thing. Let's go to 19... let's go down the line here. So we used to have a national lottery here in Jamaica, meaning it wasn't privatized. It was Jamaica's lottery. In 1968, Finance Minister, we're out of time. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 31st and final day in the month of October 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. Nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. We're out of time. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines today, Monday, October 31, 2022. Outer bands of Tropical Storm Lisa to continue influencing weather conditions across the island. Police Federation head proposes extreme penalty for persons convicted of obstructing the police while they're seeking to make arrests. Principal implicated in fraudulent sale of lands near Clifton facing additional charges. Decomposing body of an unidentified man found floating in waters in Port Royal. In business news, Carib Cement registers a third quarter profit.
Bye. Bye.